Yeah, back again. Basically, I was talking about media and football and stuff really. I'm going to talk about the Golden Triangle. The Golden Triangle is a sport, which is the top of the triangle, the most important thing, media and sponsorship. All these have a connection, whereas we all use each other to help promote the sport. Without sponsorship, media can have an impact, which can have an impact on sport. Without media, sponsorship can have an impact on sport. Good thing about the Golden Triangle is as well, it brings a lot of revenue to the game. Yeah, really. Next, we're going to talk about the cons of media. There's always a negative, to some of the basic aspects of football, and one of them is news reporters. A footballer could have a bad game, may concede a penalty, or may miss a complete sitter, and the newspapers can have a dig at the player. If a player's going through a rough patch, news reporters will often say or criticise a player just to fill up a bit of space in the newspaper, really, but also it can go to on Twitter as well, where fans can send abusive messages to, a player and can really knock confidence. It has happened on one occasion where Tom Cleverley has had to delete his profile on Twitter because fans have abused him over and over again, and also there's a petition for him not to be in the England team, which was a bit bad as well because he was representing the country and players didn't think he was good enough. About media as well is players can be exposed at any time. If they tweet their mate, have a bit of banter, news reporter can just look at it and write something completely relevant about it, which can put them in the down there. Media and sport, obviously TV and stuff. Fans can choose to stay at home instead of going to a game. If a Nottingham Forest versus Leeds United match, Leeds United fans may not choose to travel because it's on Sky Sports. Therefore, there's less money the club's making because people are sat at home watching it rather than travelling and supporting the team first hand. Social media, obviously fans can engage with the idols and professionals. Fans can also have an insight because a footballer on the pitch is a professional, but out the pitch, they're just like anyone else. They go out, they watch the football, they watch soaps, they tweet about their general life. Basically, it helps give people an insight of a footballer's life. So that's one good thing. The cons is obviously abusive messages, maybe a bit of a jump into conclusion sort of thing where people may just read a tweet and assume up to no good, or they look at that and they think you're not professional because you're in a car driving around 60 miles an hour to do a video or something like that. Just basically, and also people can make a replica of the account. They can make parody accounts, they can make fake accounts where they pretend to be someone but they're really not, and obviously that is a criminal offence, but for some footballers they can be offended. Newspaper media, obviously, people like news reporters can they can praise and be a bit biased towards a footballer. For example, Wayne Rooney, people know him for years now, and all he has to do is score a tap in, and he's the world's best player for some reason. But when you look down to the lower divisions like League Two, you can have a guy score an absolute scream in the 90th minute, and he'll only be recognised in the local newspaper, not the world's newspaper. So there's a bit of bias too. But also, being one of the bigger footballers as well, you are prone to be the target because if you do one thing out of line, the newspaper's going to be on you and they're not going to leave you alone. One player, an example we use is Luis Suarez. His time in England, he felt like the newspapers were against him because of his reputation. But he won awards where footballers and the public have voted for him, not the media. So therefore, the quote in there saying he was surprised, how many people have voted for him, but he'd have been even more surprised with, what would have been the outcome if the media voted for him as well, as one of the world's best players. We're going to technology and sport now. First thing is a list. Go on technology, electric advertisements, full official boards, electric scoreboards, TV analysis, treatments and injury, free kick spray, boots and clothing in football. Just genuine improvements in technology in the game. First thing is development of personal equipment. Some of the images down below show, an old pair of football boots, hard leather, heavy, and then the ones at the end are, the latest Nike models with a similar model, but a lot, just a different boot altogether really. Lighter boot with technology involved, such as super, different studs, plastic, metal, grip on the outside, softer sole, all sorts of little things really. But over the years, boot designers such as Nike and Adidas have introduced tight material, chips into the boots where you can, measure how fast the players run, how far he's run. Those are little things which keep the money in football going and get people who, like Ronaldo, like Messi, wearing these sort of boots so people can go buy them, and feel more involved in football. The technology in football has increased over the years, more TV, more goal line technology, just instalments which help the game flow, such as electric scoreboards where the fourth official, the football ground might have a massive TV saying, what the time is, what scored, who scored, events in the game. Obviously goal line technology, which is a major improvement because it stops the argument altogether, where, an example I'm going to use is Frank Lampard in the World Cup, in the 2010 World Cup, goal line technology wasn't used, where a situation happened where Frank Lampard took his shot, hit the crossbar, bounced over the line, came back out. The referee clearly didn't see it. However, it was a clear-cut goal and England denied getting a goal. That obviously changed the outcome of the game. However, now goal line technology has been introduced into the game. Referees will have a buzzer saying the ball's gone across the whole line, goal's given, end of argument. So it keeps the flow of the game going. Obviously, pitch sprinklers, that's benefits to grounds. If it's a dry day, the ground can be watered for the second half or the third during the game, before the game. So therefore, the pitch is in a good condition to play on. The fourth official substitutes board, a board which just simply tells the crowd and the referee which player's coming on, which player's coming off. Just a simple flow of the game, so the referee going over and getting a pen out and writing all the details and stuff really. Next is the pros of technology in football. Obviously the flow of the game, a bit more revenue, advertisements and recognition of clubs, companies, maybe the charity in football. Next is the cons, such as one is not every football match is going to have goal line technology. Only your top end football clubs like Manchester United, Liverpool, Wembley Stadium, of course, they'll have the goal line technology. But teams like Tamworth Town and places like that, they aren't going to have goal line technology. So for them, football's going to be assumed. And we're going to talk about technology and injury. Obviously when a player gets injured to a club, nowadays, everyone knows about the injury, and I think the doctors and medical staff can understand with technology what the injury is and how they can recover from it with programs, obviously scans and all that sort of stuff. But when a player gets injured, there's a variety of injuries. However, technology can identify what each injury is. Using technology, they can, work out the program of the rest and time they'll need, and when they come back into football, what they're going to be doing, and obviously the development of the recovery. Some examples of technology in injuries: scanning machines, like at the club. If a player's got a broken ankle, might be told to rest for 4 weeks, but then come back and have a scan at the club, and then obviously see the improvements. But also little things like an ice bath, after a match, or jacuzzi, where it just helps the players relax their muscles and prepare them for the next game, obviously. Technology in football boots and kits and stuff. Over the years, there's developments going on in football kits and football boots and all that. I showed one about football boots earlier on, but this one's more about kits and stuff. Basically, Nike and Adidas, the leading brands in football, kit designs, they've introduced really thin t-shirts. Because obviously, in the 90s and all that, players used to wear big baggy t-shirts and just with the brand in it really. But nowadays, Nike have introduced something called Dry Fit, where basically there's holes in the t-shirts, so obviously breathing space, obviously the t-shirt's not going to get heavy, not going to get damp. It allows it just allows the player to feel more comfortable into the game. But also, it's a benefit in football as well because people are going to be wanting to buy these t-shirts because they're real good quality. And when you see players wearing these t-shirts and stuff, and the material used, it makes a lot of people want to buy it. And that is my presentation.
Well done, good stuff. Right, question for you.
Yeah.
If you were a pro player,
yeah,
how do you see the media? Positive or negative for your career?
I see it as both, but I'll mostly see it as a negative side of things.
Why do you think that is?
You can make one mistake in the game, and they can talk about it for weeks and weeks. If you make one good thing, 2 weeks max, and they talk about it, and then but media can criticise you a lot, and with the media, they like to express their opinion, some being too strong, and some being a fair opinion, and I think there's media being criticised and there's media being bullied, and when you look at the Twitter, players have actually come off Twitter or don't refuse to use Twitter because they can get bullied at any time.
Yeah.
So I think it's a negative more than a positive. But
okay. Obviously, you go to technology, right?
Yeah.
You've mentioned the effects on sport, which is really good. How do you think, when we talk about analysis, how do you think the technology's improved that?
I think it's improved a lot because it can educate people about football, but it can also show and it can also help the pundit explain something about in football. An example maybe a free kick. With Sky Sports and BT Sports cameras, they can see a free kick at every angle. And an example maybe is Ronaldo. He can shoot a free kick and it can just fly in the net up and down. The TV cameras, they can show him how he kicks the ball, and they can explain it further on when they talk about Ronaldo's free kicks, and they can also explain key areas in the match like tactics, team's tactics.
Brilliant.
Stuff like that, really.
Right, I thought you presented really, really well. Right, I think your presentation's quality. Some of the slides, a little bit too much info, but what you've done really well is you've not looked at your slides, you've explained your pictures. So maybe next time you might just want to add pictures, because the information you're given is not necessarily what's on your slide. You've just come out with it, which is great. Okay, so well done for that. Positive, you name one for us.
I just think good examples when I was speaking,
and
kind of relating it to real life football.
Yeah, development point.
Just genuine looking at the slides and just analysing my slides myself and trying to just make it more professional and easy to read and stuff like that.
Okay, brilliant. Well done.